We had that when I played at Leon. I didn't have to do, and I mean, we paid the lady and took a picture, and she went, and next thing you know, she came back with our driver's license, our work visa. It was ridiculous.
That's so nice.
We did absolutely nothing.
Welcome to The Conversation, a Colorado Rapids podcast where I get to talk to our guests about football, about soccer, about Colorado, really anything that I think of on the day. I'm Jordan Angeli, and today I am joined by a Colorado Rapids legend. This guy is iconic, from his hairstyle to the goals he scored to now his work, not just with the Rapids, but also as a sports broadcaster. Please help me welcome Marcelo Balboa. Chelo, what's going on, man?
I just loving my green today. That's all I'm going to say to you right now. I'm loving my green.
It feels good. You know,
feels right.
It feels right. And even more than that, you get the swishy green. It's got to, you know how smells can bring you back to something?
Yes.
That swish of the tracksuit has got to bring you back to warming up back in the day.
It was, the sound gave me the chills again. There's no doubt about that. But, I love this, the retro that they brought back, the green, the logo, everything that we brought back in 96. It's just nice to see it come back in a little bit more modern look.
Yes. 30th anniversary of the league this year, the OG kit. It's wild. That felt like it flew by. Probably makes us both feel a little bit old because I remember going to those games and wanting to be players on your team and playing out there. But there's a lot to remember. I want to go back to that first year. What are some of the vivid memories you have from getting to be the guy that did all the firsts as a Colorado Rapids player?
It was a dream for all of us to have a league. So after 94, when we didn't have that ability to start in 95, you got a little nervous. You got a little scared because everything we've talked about wanting to build and to play in our own country and build the sport, what kind of was pushed away. But I'll be honest, when 96 came around, decision was easy I think for a lot of us, especially for me, with Phil Anschutz calling me and asking me to come play for his team because he wanted they did the funny overhead kick on his team. And I think that right there for me just kind of sealed the deal that I was coming back to MLS.
Did he say that to you in your conversation?
He did.
You're the guy who did the funny...
I want the guy who did the funny overhead kick on my team. So I'm good.
Wild.
Listen, when did you ever get an owner that would call you on the phone? And I was with Sunil Gulati. And he's like, Phil wants to talk to you. I was like, okay. You know what I mean? It's like you got a guy who owns a team wants to actually talk to me. I never talked to the owner in Leon.
Wow.
So this was kind of cool.
Did that make it easier? You felt it's great to feel wanted, right? Did that make you feel like, man, I could build something really different here?
It was difficult at that time because I was being sold from Leon to Cruz Azul, one of the bigger teams in Mexico City. And at that point, I was kind of going back and forth. And then when MLS, Sunil, and Phil Anschutz came in, you say you take a little time, you pray, you think. It just felt right. When Phil called me, and I was just like, yeah, this is it. Let's go. And I signed about a week or two later. Missed the first game, unfortunately, Sporting Kansas City. But I think everything was kind of just... the stage was set for MLS to hit.
So you missed the first game, but you play in that next game. Tell us about the game. Like, what do you remember from those early moments with the Rapids?
I'll be honest with you. The thing that shocked me is when we got into the locker room. I wasn't really sure. I was nervous, because it's a new league. And Phil walks in with Nancy, and he went to every single player in that locker room, and not introducing himself. Hey, Chris, how are you?
Wow.
Hey, Scott, how are you? Hey, Marcelo, how are you? I was like, this dude knows everybody's name. He was that involved in it. And then when we walked out, to go warm up, you're in your head, you're thinking, please be people here, please, because you're not sure. And you walk out and there's over 20,000 people. You're like, yes, all right, this is going to be a good day. And, it was something I think a lot of us that we talked about on the national team that we wanted to come back and we wanted to help even if we were going to be the pioneers, we knew we weren't going to get the big money, but we wanted to make sure we had a solid foundation. And I think that's why you saw Tab was the first one to ever sign. And then Lexi dropped, Winalda dropped, I dropped. Everybody started wanting to come back and make sure that we did everything possible to hopefully set that foundation to where we're here 30 years later and we're still talking about it. And it's soccer-specific stadiums. It's the most wonderful thing that we've ever wanted in this United States. We wanted soccer to succeed.
That's so cool. I was going to ask you who those players were, but then you just name, a bunch of your teammates from that.
And that's
94.
not even Joe Max Moore. I mean, everybody, Mike Burns, everybody that was trying to go to Europe decided that they were going to stay. And that I think is what, and not even that. Let's talk about Echeverry. Let's talk about Valderrama. Let's talk about Cienfuegos. I mean, Kobe Jones. I mean, we're talking about guys in CONCACAF and the world that were big name players decided to come here.
I love hearing that because I'm on the other side of things with NWSL and we're a new league. And, those early years were difficult. Like I don't know what you made, but I made $13,000 my first year in NWSL. But you had this feeling like, this is going to be it. Yeah. We're going to lay a foundation. We're going to let these players know who have never played pro before what the standard should be, not only on the field, but off the field as well. Do you have conversations with those guys about that now?
It's unfortunate. I think a lot of the modern kids don't really look at, and I'm a big fan of history of a club, and we don't look at the history of the club because none of these guys understand that we train, and we were just talking about it. We trained at Westminster Rec Fields. That means everybody trained there. Everybody could walk there. Everybody can walk onto our field and do whatever they wanted to.
I could just go and watch you play, which I used to watch training all the time when I was growing up.
Exactly. They forgot that we had to climb up a 100-yard hill to go to two trailers. That one was the equipment room and one was the showers and our lockers. So people, the sacrifices we made. I mean, we don't have world-class facilities like we do now. I mean, that's the sacrifices we made. And I remember going to Dallas, and they were upgraded because they had a double-wide trailer to have there. So I was like, this is kind of cool, you know what I mean? But, again, I think that history of the club is very important, and I think sometimes a lot of these new kids, young kids that get into this league really don't remember how we got here. 30 years takes a lot. And I'm talking the Steve Tritchus of the world. Let's go back to the Kobe Jones. I mean, the guys who just sacrificed. There were guys that left their jobs. They were making $80,000 to come and play for $30,000 because they wanted to help this league.
Yeah. And for you talk about playing in Mexico and making a change to play in the United States. I would imagine there was some kind of sacrifice that entailed that. Not provided, but it cost you something.
The only thing it cost was making the right decision. You know what I mean? Because I was going to play soccer no matter what. It was just a matter, was I going to take the money here and go play in a competitive league where there's relegation? Or was I going to be a bigger part and help the league that we all wanted to see succeed go and play there? And for me, it was an easy decision. I loved Mexico and I loved my time at León. But what happened here and how we got to a final in '97 and all the ups and downs with the fans, I don't think I would trade that for anything. Yeah,
that transition, you were the marquee defensive player of that time, right? You came from León. You were just with the national team in the '94 World Cup. This was a huge step for you and for American soccer to have you in this league. Did you feel that there was any pressure on you to sell it, to do what did he say? The crazy overhead kick yes. To do more of that? Or did it feel like, if I'm just myself, that's all I need to do?
No, God, when we came here, a lot of us, we knew that it was going to be, you're going to have to play. You're also going to have to do PR, and you're going to have to be a publicist over here. You're going to have to do everything. And we did. I'm not going to lie. I remember standing on Federal. If you go to my house stadium off Federal, and I remember right up past the highway.
Like 20th.
There's a liquor store there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, we were standing there waving at cars, waving our Rapids flag. After coming back from a World Cup, I'm sitting there going, okay. At that point, I thought to myself, what am I getting myself into that I'm standing here waving a flag, promoting our team? You know what I mean? Yeah. So it was just part of the job. It was part of the job. We knew that it was going to be very hard. We knew that the money wasn't going to be what it was in other places. But sometimes you don't do it for the money, you do it for the love. And I think we all came back because we love this game.
I love that visual because those are the moments where you're like, man, I wish there was social media back then. But we don't wish there was social media because that would just be another thing on top of it. But I'd love to see that Chelo just like, come watch us
imagine
play.
Tritchie was on the national team.
Yeah.
He was out there doing the same thing as I was doing it. So listen, we knew what we were getting into and we knew what we had to do. And yes, we did feel the pressure of having to maybe do things we normally wouldn't do on the field to make sure we entertained. But little by little, as time went on, you didn't have to do that because you had the Valderramas, you had the Echeverries, you had the Cienfuegos. They did their thing and we did our thing. And eventually it meshed together. And we had ups and downs. Listen, by the third year, they told us very clearly, when you come back from Mexico, we have money for 3 years.
Okay.
3 years after that, we'll see where the league is, where it's not. And they found a way between Phil, the Hunts, and the Crafts. They found a way to keep this league afloat to where it's at. Because if it wasn't for those three,
they were massive.
We wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be here.
They really did. They stepped up in huge ways to keep teams afloat, to make this league survive. And it's nice to be able to give a little history lesson, like Professor Balboa over here.
It's just reality. You know what I mean?
It is reality.
Phil had, I think at one point, Phil had 7 teams.
Yeah.
I think, so it's like, you know what I mean? He kept this league afloat along as having Colorado, putting money everywhere. So, we sit here now where no owner has 2 teams. Everybody has an owner. Everybody has a stadium. Everybody has their fan base. So, listen, there's a lot of thanks to those guys because if not, we may not be here.
Do you feel proud, though, that you got to be in at the beginning?
I don't think I feel proud. I think I feel honored.
Honored, yeah.
Yeah, because, I could have easily chose a different path or I could have, they gave us a choice where we wanted to play. So when you give me a choice, when I played here for the Foxes with David Durr, with Lauren, the quality of life, it wasn't a very hard decision.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When they told me you will get the place you pick and I picked Colorado, they're like, you're there.
Yeah.
So... but you always feel it's an honor to be in a place where people want you. And you know what I mean? And now it's your job to make sure you go out every day. And when you walk off the field, you make sure that you have nothing left in the tank. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of us back then, that's what we did. We just ran and we fought and we scratched and hoped people would like it. And little by little, the Rapids fan base grew and grew and grew. And again, lucky, honored more than anything to have been able to wear the green.
Yeah, I love that. I remember going to Fox's games too. What was that stadium called?
Inglewood.
Yeah.
Inglewood High School.
Well, we feel honored as, I grew up here. I grew up watching you play and you guys set the tone for like what I thought it could be like to be a professional soccer player. I didn't care that you were men. I just wanted to be like you. And I just feel very lucky that we had so many good players in our state that chose to play for the Rapids. One of the things you guys got to do in the first few years is play at an iconic stadium, Old Mile High, which was, I can still hear it rattling.
Yes, the feet stomping.
Yes. What do you remember about playing there and maybe specifically, like, because it wasn't your stadium, it was the Broncos stadium. No. What was the facilities like for you? Did you interact with the Broncos team at all? Or
we never saw them. We never saw them. But, you don't really realize Mile High until 4th of July. You know what I mean? When you walk out and you're like, okay, $20 to go to the Rapids game and then go to Elages, we're like, what the hell is going on? Are you kidding me? No one's going to come. Who's going to want to come watch soccer when Elages is right there? And we go out, we start warming up, and there's probably 20, 25,000. As the game goes on, the halftime you get about maybe 30. And I swear to you, when we walk out 15 minutes later, now it's 45, 50. And as the game's getting closer to the end, now you've got 60,000 people at Mile High. And we're like, okay, what's going on here? You know what I mean? Because it went from 20 to 60 within 30 minutes. And I think that's when we realized that this sport's here to stay, especially when you can draw 60,000 people. And I think we had a run there for a while of like 5 or 6 years we didn't lose on 4th of July. Some miracle by something, somebody'd have a hat trick or somebody would score a last-minute goal. But just remembering that we would sit there going, and I think we all thought the same thing, God, I can't wait to that day where we have a soccer specific stadium, because it's difficult to play sometimes
Yeah.
in front of
It's vast.
15, 20,000 over a 60,000 seat stadium.
Yes.
It was difficult, but I will say this, it was very loud. The fans were right on us, and that was great. So when you scored a goal, you literally could run right into where they were at. And it was always an electric, high intensity kind of fans always screaming and yelling. And like I said, it was not what we wanted, but it was one of the coolest probably experiences I've had.
Yeah, so unique. It's cool to have those experiences. Like mine were growing up. I remember Steve Ramos and Joey DiGiormarino were two of my coaches, and we got to come on the field after a game when the Monkees performed. I don't know if you remember that.
Oh, yeah. Do we want to go, hey, with the Monkees? Yes. I gotcha. I remember.
And I just will never forget that, how cool it was to be on a field where, pro players were playing. So
were you there when we had Lucha Libre? That was the day.
I should have been there.
That was the day. I stayed for that one.
Yes.
That was,
that sounds epic.
That was epic.
But it's an iconic stadium for people that are from Colorado and people that didn't get to experience it. Like, it was loud because it was all metal, and you'd stomp your feet, and that place would rock. And you got it rocking a lot because you scored a few of those really nice overhead kick bike goals. You scored
got one at home, though.
Oh, you didn't?
No, I got in Columbus.
But you got the first goal in the organization.
The first one, yes.
What do you remember about that?
I remember wondering how long I was going to last because I was coming from Leon. I didn't really train it out to do the first day.
It was your first game.
It was a very first game. I only trained like 2-3 days, and I got lightheaded the first day of training because I wasn't used to the altitude already. And you know what? I remember? It's very honest. I remember Gene Harbor doing all the work. I remember Gene Harbor beating a guy, throwing his body through two guys, and laying a ball right into the middle so I could put the ball in the back of the net. But he did all of the work. If it wasn't for what he did, I wouldn't have scored because I made a run, great. But he laid a ball, right here. And for me to score with my left foot, which is hilarious, but he did everything, man. And it's one of those things where people they always say Marcelo scored the first goal, but let's just go back and think, wow, what an assist. Because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have got that. And he literally beat 2-3 guys. And if you remember Gene Harbor, 6'2", 6'3", about 210 pounds. He was like a linebacker. And he
should be in the other locker room, buddy.
Yeah, man. He was. So I'm very thankful to him because he did. All I had to do was make the run, and he put it right. He put it on the platter for me.
Yeah, I love this walk down memory lane because too you get to talk about these people that you maybe haven't talked about in a long time or that deserve credit in moments that maybe don't always get it. So I like that little shout out.
No one ever says who got the first assist for the Rapids.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Well,
it's Gene Harbor.
Gene got it. You. Just talking to you always, like you are a very passionate person, a little Argentinian in you, right?
Passionate, emotional, whatever you want to
Yeah. I've got the Italian part of that, so I understand. I remember you talking about your dad, and he had a satellite just so you could watch soccer games. Do you feel like that's where your passion for the game developed? Was it through him? Was it through watching those games? Where do you feel like that kind of started to develop?
Through my dad.
Yeah.
When we were kids, me and my brother, we'd go up to Daniels Field where my dad still played with the St. Pedro Yugoslavs, and we would watch him play. We'd be over in the side of the soccer field playing in the dirt with the ball and just watching Pops play. You know what I mean? He would play every weekend, and we'd be there every weekend. Dad worked graveyard. Dad would come home. We'd come home from school, and instead of doing his thing, he would finish homework, and we're off training for 2 hours. You know what I mean? So his passion for what he loved to do, and all he had to do was when we were kids, he showed me a picture of him. He played for the Argentine National League B team one game, and he got a picture with Pele. So he got to play against Pele, and I'm just like, okay. I'm like, all right, Pops, I got you.
So he was good.
Pops, they called him the radio because he never shut up. So he never shut up. And he played, I'll tell you one. I didn't know this, but in the 90 World Cup team, when I made the 90 World Cup team, Bob Ganser was the coach. Bob Ganser pulls me aside, and he goes, I'm going to tell you something now. He goes, I played with your father with the Chicago Mustangs. And I'm like, excuse me? And he's like, yeah. He goes, I played with your dad. We both played on the same team. And I'm like, so I have him, he tells me, you made the World Cup team. But he told me that story when he told me I was making the team. So I go home and I'm like, why didn't you tell me you played with Bob? It's because I didn't want to. He goes, you have to earn your spot. I wasn't going to tell you that I knew anybody. So I'm like, okay. But my dad and Bob Ganser played together in Chicago.
That is wild. And also it tells you more about your dad and just how he raised you a little bit.
Listen, Pop's parents are there to facilitate your goals. If you have a goal and you write it down, and that's what he made me do at 14, write down my goals, and then he was there to make sure he backed me up. He was that dad who was an asshole. I'm sorry to say, but he was. Yeah. But if it wasn't for him being like that, I wouldn't be here. He kicked me off his team because I got too, we'll say, at that point, a lot of people couldn't do what me and my brother could do. So I always played up. So people were always asking us to guest play. So I was walking around like, yeah, whatever. And he kicked me off his team for 3 weeks. So I had nowhere to play.
Wow.
He wouldn't release me to go play somebody else. He wanted me to sit home and think that if you're going to play, you've got to be humble and you've got to work hard. So he's the one that brought the hard work, the mentality. You can go through pain, you can work through hard. And then after that, Mom was the nurturer. Mom was like, I'm here for you. I'll give you a hug. We'll cook. We'll talk. So it was a very good balance. But Pops has always been the guy that's pushed me and driven me to see higher goals.
Yeah, I love that. Thanks for sharing that. When you look back, you just talked about 14.
Yep.
When you're writing things down, is that the moment that you were thinking, all right, I want to be a professional soccer player? Was it before then? Can you pinpoint kind of when that dream started to cultivate?
Probably around 14.
Yeah.
But reality hit, because you got to remember at 14, this was 81, 82. And there was no pro league.
Right.
There was nothing for us. All there was college. I remember being in high school and playing in a CIF quarterfinal game, and we probably had 100 coaches on the sideline at a high school game.
Whoa.
That no longer happens.
Whoa.
Yeah, that no longer happens. So, it's one of those deals now where everything's completely changed, but soccer was it for me. I played football. Had a
What'd you
great
play?
time. I played free safety and kicker. My dad, put it this way. My dad.
Of course you played free safety.
But I didn't want to. My dad said, you can play football, but
Okay.
you can play only kicker punter. I don't want you out there getting hit
Oh, right.
because I've never played football. So the football coach says you have to play 2 positions. And I said, kicker punter. He goes, no, that's one. He goes, you play soccer. I know you play sweeper. He goes, we'll put you at free safety. Great. Interception, got knocked out. Great. No concussion protocol, so you go right back in. Caught another one at the end of the game, got knocked out again, laid out. I laid the ball down. I told the coach I quit. I couldn't play soccer. I couldn't play football with this vision. This is all I could see.
Yeah, that's hard.
And I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. And so he's like, okay, maybe kicker punter at 2 positions. So he let me stay on the team to kick and punt. But I played baseball.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, I told somebody yesterday, the only reason I played, it was in California, it was football, soccer, then baseball. I played those 3 sports because I needed that motivation to keep my grades up because I struggled in school. Being Spanish and English, I was going back and forth. I was kind of at that stage where you're a little of both, and I couldn't grasp the English language with the writing. And the only way I stayed in school was because of sports.
Wow.
So.
Where'd you play in baseball?
Pitcher and first base.
Okay.
So, oh no, I sucked. I was scared of a ball coming at me 90 miles an hour on the ground because we played on the dirt stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And when I pitched, I was like pitched against the lower. I had like an 80 mile an hour fastball, and the dude, the other pitcher, lefty Jones, had like a 92 mile an hour fastball in high school. I was like,
you can take it.
I'm like, I'm good.
I'm good. I'll go play soccer.
Yeah. You know what? Soccer gave me freedom. Soccer. Every time I stepped on the field, I could just feel my heart beating faster. And I didn't get that feeling with football, and I didn't get that feeling with baseball. It was that freedom of that creativity. There's just no boundaries. You can create, you can do things that in baseball, you can't do that. You can't do that in football.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to play positions that were like a quarterback. This wasn't me.
Yeah.
So soccer just lit me up.
It's like the creativity on the problem solving side, right? Which I think is, gosh, when soccer is taken away from you and you don't have that, you're like, I don't know what to do because I don't have this creative part of me anymore.
Oh, it happened one time with the ACL, and that's why I have long hair. I got bored. I didn't know what to do. I had no clue what to do. So I'm like, I'm not going to cut my hair until I can play again.
I love it.
That was it.
Good thing you did that. This is now, this is the look.
Listen, the only reason I kept it is because my grandfather says to me one day in the 94 World Cup before he passed away, he says, grow it while you got it, because eventually it's not going to grow anymore. And then you look like me. And I'm like, rock on. I'm like, okay. So I keep my hair long because grandpa's like, grow it while you can grow it.
I love it. Well, you're doing a good job.
It's doing a great job so far. It's getting thinner in places. We're not going to say anything.
Nah. It was like, I love looking back on all these different moments. 94 World Cup, starting this league. What do you think that generation of players, like, let's go back to just the first few years. How do you feel like you guys cultivated what the culture was going to be like in this league, or even, let's say specifically here with the Rapids? Like, what was your idea of, if we're going to build a foundation, these are the things that are going to be important if you're a Rapids player?
Hard work. You know what I mean? That was one of the things that we're at altitude. We wanted to take advantage of the altitude. So hard work, being the fittest team out there. So, and at that point, those were the two keys for us, because we wanted to use the altitude to our advantage, which I think we do sometimes.
Once it was an advantage.
It was back then.
Yeah.
And then the hard work is you can't have, even look at now, if you look at Argentina play with Messi and without Messi, it's completely different. Mm-hmm. When Messi goes off the field, it's a team that high presses you, it pushes you, and it's complete. Now Messi gets in, they drop off a little bit, they don't push as high. So it was important for us to be a team and we tried to play good soccer. The problem is the tactics that we wanted, that the coach implemented, was we were going to play long ball. And I remember the first training session was a full field, ball in, ball back, and Harbor would take off, Tritt would take off, I would take off, the two wings would take off, and there went a 90 freaking ball, 90 miles an hour down the wing, and we were running after it. We were hoping Gene would flick it on, and Tritt's job was to run past him, and my job was to be underneath to make sure if it does drop down, I can get it. That's not what we wanted. That's it. We had players, Gene Harbor, we had Tritt, we had Scott Benedetti, we had Chris Henderson. I'm like, we have Sean Bartlett, who played for the South African national team. We had players that can play, and we were playing long ball.
Yeah.
So the first year, we'd have to say we struggled quite a bit, and then, God rest his soul, they brought in Mooch. And Mooch changed the way we wanted to play. He wanted us to play soccer. He wanted us to move. We picked up Peter Vermes. We picked up Bravo. Now, all of a sudden, we reached the MLS Cup final. And that's what we wanted. That's the vision we had.
Yeah. I actually was playing soccer with my nephew in the front yard the other day. And that ball up there from...
Oh, yeah.
I have that ball signed, and I was looking at it yesterday, and I saw all those people's names.
Yeah.
Your name, Bravo, Vermes. I was like, wow, maybe we shouldn't be playing with soccer with this.
If you can't use it, it looks good there, but it's more fun. See, I have that one. See, I have the Wilson at home.
Uh-huh.
So that was old school.
Yep.
That was old school.
But MLS early years, even, gosh, it took a while for this league to get there. And a lot of people put in years to establish that this was going to stick around. But there's some good stories from those first few years. I'm sure you gotta give us something that happened, wild story, funny story. Take us back to 96, 97, those early years, and some of the things that you guys dealt with.
I could tell you half of them, because they would include Waldy. They would include a few other guys. No, you know what it was? It was great, but it was difficult, because now there's charters, things. Back then we flew domestic flights, so half the team could go on a 6 o'clock flight, half the team would go on an 8 o'clock. You imagine trying to get 20 something odd people on a plane, all in the same plane.
Right.
So it was difficult for us. And I remember at times that we had to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning. We just finished at 9. We couldn't find Waldy Harris one day. There were no cell phones. Back in the old days, there's no cell phones. So we're all trying to find players, and they're sleeping in. And it was very fun times.
Yes.
Fun. Listen, you gotta go back and you think what we did was probably not normal.
No.
But it was fun, because that's the way it was. Listen, this league changed when David Beckham came. When David Beckham came, the charters came into effect. Let's be honest. The designator player came into effect. So, You know what I mean? There's certain things that happen throughout a 30-year period, but there's got to be key moments. And when you talk about Thierry Henry, David Beckham, world-class players come into play here, and then you go to that next phase where you bring in a Suarez, a Messi, DePaul. You're like, are you kidding me now? So this is what I mean, is there's stages, and we just have to keep progressing in these stages. But those first, say 10 years, they were fun.
I know. We need more stories. That laugh makes me feel like we need more stories.
Yeah, like I said, you said it perfect before. Thank God there was no social media.
It was hard traveling. I mean, still traveling in MLS is different than any other league in the world. It is a massive country. Yep. What was the hardest trip that you guys had to take?
From here, you know what? I got to be honest. From here, there were never really a bad trip. You know what I mean? It was Florida was 4 hours. I mean, if you're in LA and you're going to Florida, that could be 6 hours depending on wind.
True.
So I think the hardest one was always going to New York. You know, I mean, New York was tough and Miami was tough because you knew that you had to play on turf.
I was going to say,
you had to play at that. You know, it was like cement painted green. It was horrible.
This was in Miami?
This was in New York. Even in Dallas when we played a few times. I mean, it was not
like
Dallas,
that old turf. That was
old Gillette Stadium.
Yeah.
In Boston, they were both turf. So Miami was just we played at where they play now.
Okay,
we'll leave it at their locker room was a room like this size, but it was all cinder block, and it just had basically chairs and a locker. And that was a locker room when you went to Miami, when you played the Fusion. It was hot in there. There was no air. I mean, you literally walk outside the locker room because it was cooler outside than it was in the locker room because it was so hot. So, I mean, listen, we've played in games where we played in a U.S. Open Cup where we had 2.5 hour, 3 hour delay, and then we lost to a second or third division team because we were at the same thing, high school locker room.
Yeah.
There's nowhere for you to do anything. So you walk out now after 3 hours of sitting, you've got to go stretch and run dead. I remember playing, and I felt like my legs were 100 pounds each. I couldn't move.
Ugh.
Couldn't move. I did everything possible. Couldn't move. We lost, I think, 3-1. Lost in a second round, third round game. So those were the good days.
Yeah. You know what I miss about the old days, though? Like the way you guys tackled each other. There were some good tackles back in MLS 1.0.
You know, the MLS 1.0 rules were fantastic. FIFA rules. Here's the deal. If I get the ball first, I can break your leg. That's all that counts. As long as I get the ball, I can go through you.
Oh, my God.
That was our era. It was, I mean, I saw a picture last night. Some guy brought a picture of me playing against Jamaica. And my legs extended like this. His ankle, it's like this. His here, my foot's there. But the ball's here. So I got the ball, and I went through his ankle.
His leg shouldn't have been there.
And I was like, no foul.
No.
Now that's a red card. They go to VAR, and they'll suspend you for 3 days. So, you know what I mean? It was different. It was just different. You know what I mean? I think nowadays, and people saying, I hate when people say this, well, the quality of player now and the ability that they have. Okay, so Valderrama was very skillful. Maradona was very skillful. Platini was, I can go down the list of all these skillful players, and they got lit up.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember watching Maradona playing with shin guards on the back of his leg because he was getting hit so much.
Oh, I bet he was.
So I'm sitting there going, okay, so all you're doing is you're protecting the more technical player. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. But it took away that grit. It took away that hard crunching tackle. Now people are questioning the tackle. And when they question that tackle, they hesitate. And when you hesitate, you're late. And when you're late,
you're in trouble.
You're in trouble.
Do you feel like that's something that people underestimate or like misunderstand about the early days of the league is like the quality of players that were in it? Or what would you pinpoint as like people didn't know this about the, or they don't know this about it?
You couldn't see us. You couldn't watch. Like people say to me, who's the best American player ever? And I'm like, well, okay, if you want to talk about players who played in Europe, I would say I put Tab Ramos up there. But people didn't see Tab play because you didn't get games from Spain here.
Yeah.
There's no way you would have seen Tab play. But if you watch Tab play, I'm sorry, but he's the best American player. If you look at guys that have been in Europe, Clint Dempsey, different, creative, just thinks out of the box, looks this way. He reminds me of Magic. He would look that way, pass that way.
Yeah.
He would just do different things, so creative. And but you didn't see that back in our day because there was no social media. You could barely catch one game or two on TV. So It's a little different now. Now you can see every game. I mean, if I put on the game the other day, I'm watching the Women Euros. I put on the game the other day, I'm watching.
You said Women Copa, right?
Which is the Copa America for women. I'm sitting there going, I'm watching. I'm like, I never could do this before.
Yeah.
Now I can
Club
watch
World Cup right before that. All the things.
Everything. So it's awesome.
Yeah. It's just different, right? It was different. The league has grown a lot, but it's not to say that it wasn't great. It wasn't good. It was good back in the day as well. You came into the league trying to build the foundation. And if you had to talk to players, and I'm sure you do talk to players that are coming into the league these days, what would you say about entering the league now? What advice would you give them, or how would you want them to honor what you guys built in a way?
I don't know if I'd want them to honor, but what I say to them is your career is about this long.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you blink, you're 10 years in. Now you're 30 years old. And people don't understand seasons go by like this. They fly by. The one thing we say is make sure you enjoy yourself. When you're smiling and you're enjoying what you're doing, it's not a job. It's you go out and you have a smile on your face. I saw Yappy the other day, and I've coached him at 13, at 14, and he had the biggest smile on his face. Comes over, gives me a hug, and I'm like, "How are you?" And he's, "I'm great," with a big smile. And that's what you want. You mean you want these kids to enjoy it, but you also want them to play at the highest level possible. So, and I think MLS is that league right now where a lot of people are starting to look at American players. We wanted a league that was going to be a business. We wanted a league that was going to have a global market. Well, now when you walk into a stadium, you'll see 2 or 3 European scouts, depending on what game it is. Right. You'll see 2 or 3 South Americans. You'll see Bundesliga scouts, and that's what you want. But for me, it's, enjoy your time and be loyal. I'm a big fan of loyalty to a club. I'm not a big fan of a guy, okay, well, they're going to pay me an extra $500,000 over here when you could probably play here and have a 5-year contract instead of a 2-year. I get the money, but loyalty is huge for me. And I think once you represent, I got traded, not because I wanted to, but the loyalty to me for kids is huge, because they're the ones, listen, the academies put all this money into you. They raise you, they bring you up, they sign you. There'll be a time that door will open, but don't be so greedy to leave. That's what I worry about. People want to leave so early, and they leave because I want to go to Europe, and then they come back 2 years later. Yeah. And that's frustrating, because once you leave Europe, it's very difficult to go back. So I'm a big fan of when you're in a good place, enjoy it.
Yeah. It has been enjoyable to watch you be so loyal to this club.
Oh, no.
And on the opposite side, the club has been loyal to you. You're getting your jersey retired, your jersey number. 2nd in club history, only the 5th in MLS, which is wild to me. But you're in the gallery of honor already. But this, Chelo, this is.
You know what the key is? Not to have a prime number. I have 10 that got retired. You can't retire some of the bigger 17. It's kind of one of those. Yeah,
this is a good number.
No, I'm teasing. No, you know what? Never in my wildest dream, when I started playing soccer, in my head, did I ever think, okay, Hall of Fame, or do I ever think, retirement of a number? The thing I thought about always is, God, I want to play in the World Cup and I want to play in the Olympics. That was it for me. Yeah. So to finish your career and people still talk about you, and now it's weird to me to think, it hasn't hit me yet that no one will ever my number. That's weird when I walk out, because I'm used to seeing somebody wear 17.
Dylan Cerna wore it for a long time.
Yeah. And so it hasn't really hit me yet. I think it'll emotionally probably get me 2 or 3 days before we get to the event that they decided that all we want as players is the approval of the fans and our club. You know what I mean? That's just reality. And I'm going to go with, I hope I did them proud when I played. I hope they realized that I gave everything I had, even when I was hurt and taking injections to step on the field, that I left my heart and soul, and I hope that that's something they'll remember.
Yeah, it is. Just as being one of those people, Yeah, I'll never forget watching you play and wearing this color and wanting that jersey and meeting you and what that meant to me. And years later, you're still a part of the club, right? You've coached these players. You were the voice of the Rapids for a number of years. And you got to get to this game, people, because you will be getting there. We got a free giveaway of this bobblehead Marcelo Balboa crazy overhead kick. What do you think?
I think it's cool. You know what? When they said they were going to try to do the bicycle kick, I'm like, all right, good luck. And they pulled it off.
Perfect.
It looks they pulled it off.
I wish you could have a spot that we could see him. Maybe right there. There we go. Perfect. He's just gonna live here.
He's got good hair.
Yeah, that's gonna be an incredible night. Who's coming? Who's gonna?
I got everybody coming.
You?
Mom, Dad, everybody's gonna come. So kids. So I've got a few friends. Dietmar, who used to coach here. And so it'll be a fun night. Hopefully that we'll all enjoy it. We'll have a good time, and we'll enjoy the fireworks afterward.
Oh, yeah. It's easy. It's going to be easy to enjoy. It's going to be hard for you not to get emotional. I think that's going to be the most difficult part of that.
I'm going to try to keep myself in check. I get emotional when I talk about my parents.
Yeah.
I get emotional when I talk about Fernando, who helped me through my ACL. There's certain people in your life that just bring out those emotions, you know what I mean? And those, because I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Mom and Dad.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have played in the 94 World Cup if it wasn't for Fernando guiding me and pushing me. So, and his family. So his family's coming.
Oh, good.
Martha's going to come. So yeah, it'll be, it's been a while since I've seen everybody. So it'll be a nice night for me.
You deserve it. You deserve to have that honor. And I wish I could be here, but I will not be.
You got to work.
In town. I got to work. But it would be fun. Before we get into our game, I want to just do a couple of these fun curveballs because it was such an interesting time. You talked about waving the flag after the 94 World Cup. You're on the quarter. I don't know if people are recognizing you, but when was the first time somebody recognized you? Do you remember that moment where they're like, you're in the grocery store, you're getting gas, and someone's like,
For the Rapids?
I don't know. I guess it could be anything.
Well, when I went to Mexico, being 6'1", a little taller than most Mexican league players, we went to the grocery store, and it was me and my wife, girlfriend later, and we went in and we started shopping, and people started gathering around trying to figure out who we were, and somebody said who we were. And next thing you know, we got mobbed by about probably 50 to 60 people. They had to call security over. They had to pull us out of the grocery store. And that day, the manager came to us, says, here's the number. Just call us, tell us what you want, and we'll ship it to you. We'll bring it to your house. So they wouldn't allow me to go.
Before DoorDash.
Before DoorDash. If I could have invented DoorDash back then, dang. But it was, I got to be honest with you, it was a little overwhelming.
I bet that was a little scary.
Because it was one, then the other, then the other, and there was no exit. And
it's not just you two; it was your girlfriend at the time.
The girlfriend, wife, later on. But yeah, it was very, for her too. For me, it was just very, not something that happened in the United States.
Yeah.
When we played for the national team, it didn't really happen. So when I went there, it freaked me out a little bit. I wasn't really sure. So after that, laundry would come to the house. We hired a maid who lived in the back quarters.
Yeah.
The Coke people would drop stuff off at the house, so we wouldn't have to go to the store.
Right.
So everybody was very kind in Leon. But that one that in Disneyland, after the World Cup, I've been to Disneyland before. And we got on all the rides, no problem. After the 94 World Cup, we went to Disneyland. They invited us to go to Disneyland. And we had to have escorts taking us from ride to ride because people finally knew who we were after watching the World Cup. So that was an interesting moment because you've gone from not really anybody really recognizing you or anybody to all of a sudden, oh, dude, you're the dude with the long hair that did the bicycle kick. And I'm like, no, that was Lexi. I'm pointing the finger, that was Lexi. So, but it was really weird, the quick, probably 2-month switch after the World Cup over, how people understood who we were.
Yeah. You kind of went from I'm playing a sport that I love, and this is a little bit, not about you, but it felt isolating, I'm sure, in moments to whoa, everybody knows who we are, which was probably a really cool switch, but also... Am I ready for this right now?
Yeah, I wasn't ready.
Yeah.
You think you are?
Yeah.
For the popularity, but you're not. No. Because people are asking for things and grabbing you.
Yeah. Did you have a weird fan encounter that you can remember? Any weird ones?
Not really weird. I mean, in 90, when we were training for 94, me and Janusz Mihalik lived in an apartment together. And we were getting phone calls late at night, and we didn't know who it was. And then we heard people knocking on the door. And then we called the police. They found footprints around the window. So that was kind of a freaky kind of thing. You know what I mean? People knew who we were now. So people were finding out where we lived. So it became a little, you definitely took a little bit more precautious, we'll say, when you walked to your car or when you were doing things.
Louise.
So yeah.
Okay, last one, and then we'll get into our game because we got to play a game.
Yes, ma'am.
If your career was made into a movie, who's playing Marcelo Balboa?
Oh, wow. John Candy. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Oh, Lord, no. I'm trying to think
I'd love to see him do it.
Me too. I want to see him play soccer.
Yeah, do the bike kick.
I would say, God, that's a tough one. I would say maybe Antonio Banderas.
That's who I just thought of.
Yeah. I don't know
we're
why.
Going him.
My accent isn't that great, but I would figure he'd probably a little soccer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think that's a good shout. That's a good
go
shout.
with him.
Yeah. All right. Now we enter the game portion, and we are playing 1996 Trivial Pursuit. Okay. Who became the first female U.S. Secretary of State nominated in 1996?
Can I phone a friend?
Yeah, phone a friend. Maybe over there they can give you a hint.
I'll take a hint.
Yeah.
Where's my hint?
Not dim, but
I'm not even going to guess. Tell me who. Tell me.
Madeleine Albright.
Oh, yeah, I would have got that one. My bad.
Yeah. I know the name after it's said, but I wouldn't have been able to just pull that. Okay, maybe you'll know this one. What was the name of the sheep famously cloned in 1996, making global headlines?
Harry.
Close.
All right. Barry? Ferry? Jerry?
Dolly. Remember Dolly? Do you remember that?
I do. No.
No?
I don't. I'm
no?
Not even
Oh, no.
I'm not even going to lie.
Okay.
Dolly. All right. I got to remember these just in case.
Yes.
Right.
I think you'll get this one. Who won the 1996 U.S. presidential election?
96.
96.
God. Who could that have been? Reagan? Who?
After Reagan. After.
Clinton?
Ding, 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 ding!
Yay!
You got one!
Got one. Even I needed a hint, see?
Okay. What rapper was fatally shot in Las Vegas in September of 1996?
Tupac. Yeah.
Ding, 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 ding!
California.
No time to party.
Sorry.
Okay. What was the
Can we
host?
finish there? I've got two.
No, I think you'll get a couple
all
more.
right.
What was the host city of the 1996 Summer Olympics?
96. Was it Atlanta?
You got
There
it. Ding,
There we
ding,
go.
ding. What team won the inaugural MLS Cup?
I was there. DC United in the rain at Gillette Stadium.
And what was the score, since you remember this day?
Overtime. I think it was DC Eddie Pope header. I think it was 1-0.
All right.
There we go.
All right.
So maybe my memory for soccer is incredible.
I don't know if that score is right. It was
got
2-0, Miles.
2-0.
3-2.
3-2.
It
There
was
we
a
go.
one
It's
goal.
fine.
Yeah,
It's good.
that was
I got
fine.
the goal. Eddie Pope
Yeah.
scored the winner, right?
Yeah.
There we go.
There we go.
I got half of it.
All
We're
right,
good.
one more, and we'll stick soccer theme
okay.
here. Which country won the UEFA Euro 1996 tournament held in England? It did not go home.
No,
I'll
I
just
know
say
that. Not like the women.
I know. Back to
Back to
back.
back, baby.
Dang.
I enjoyed making fun of Richard, but
Yeah.
he loves
yeah.
it. He loves it. Euros. Why do I want to go with like Holland or Denmark?
Close
Who?
to there.
Or
Germany.
Germany. All right. Well, it was close.
Yeah, you were. You did pretty good for
I hung in there
for
for-
not feeling like, I think you were like 50%, maybe 60.
I'll take that.
Maybe
I'll take
60%.
51%.
Maybe
I'm good with-
60%.
I'm good with 51.
Chelo, this has been fun. The last thing we always do is just give you an opportunity to give a little gratitude. So the mic is yours.
No, listen. The problem is there's so many people to thank, from
We got
Charlie Wright to Phil Anschutz, to who gave me an opportunity when Kroenke took over. You know, Wayne and Porrick have put this together, so I'm very thankful for them, and the work that Jordan and CK have done have been absolutely wonderful. And I know there's more surprises. I know that there's posters and all that stuff they've been showing me this week. So they've been absolutely fantastic. And, more than anything, it's the fans as always, you know what I mean? Because they're the ones that came when they didn't know what was going to happen with the Rapids. First year, second year, we're 30 years in. We're still seeing a lot of the same people coming to the games and enjoying it. We have our own home, which is probably the best part of having a team here, so we can call this our home at Dick's Sporting Goods Park. So I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for all of the teammates that I've played with, because I couldn't have done any of the things I've done without them, be it Peter Vermes or Fernando or Tritt, or, you can go with Eric Winalda, Lexi, who was my partner in crime for so many years in the back, with Tony behind me and Casey Keller. So just honored and humbled that they've chosen to retire my number, and I look forward to hopefully enjoying that night with everybody who comes, who have been supporting the Rapids, and hopefully we'll get a win that night.
Yeah. And from Rapids, I know all the staff, from myself, and all the memories I have growing up. Thanks for making Colorado known. Thanks for all the hard work, the passion, the aerial gymnastics you would do that made people want to watch Rapids games, and for your commitment to this club through, a lot of different changes. You have been loyal, and it's been really cool to see you continue to be a part of Rapids history. And it was really fun going back in time. And
I'm just glad I remembered.
You did. You remembered a lot. So that's going to be it for this episode of The Conversation. Thank you so much, Chelo, for joining us and sharing a little bit about this 30th anniversary, going back into the archive. If you guys like this podcast, make sure you subscribe. Whatever podcasts you listen to, go ahead and subscribe there, and we will be back very soon with another episode of The Conversation. We'll talk to you guys later.